bonding rock climbing or free climbing shoes can be a bit of a challenge. Well, not only can be, it is a bit of a challenge, especially if you're not using the right adhesive and the right preparation for the material. The rubber soles used in such shoes are generally very sticky, heavy, flexible rubbers that, well, they almost stick to the rock surface. That's why they are used in such applications. But these materials also require a special bonding procedure. After testing many of these materials in our lab over the years, we have come up with a method that works. So two aspects are important. First of all, surface preparation, and then making the adhesive resistant, because these rubbers are generally a bit more on the oily, greasy side. Well, not on their business surface that sticks to the rock, but based on what comes out of the material when you grind them and when you bond them. So, what is the process? First of all, make sure that the material you're working on is still stable. So if you're resoling a climbing shoe, make sure that there is no degraded, crumbly, or otherwise unreliable material still on there. All of that has to go, because if that is the case, if that's still on there, and if you bond to it, when those chunks come off, the whole sole is going to come off, and you don't want that happening while your customer is actually dangling from a rock a couple hundred feet up. So make sure that you're working on fresh, new material that is still completely reliable. Then both sides need to be primed with our Renia Rehagol. If you're bonding to rubber, if you're bonding to leather or fabric or any other material, the Rehagol is not strictly necessary, but it also doesn't hurt. So feel free to apply it to both sides just to be on the safe side. As always, if there is anything greasy, oily on either material, the material needs to be cleaned with solvent first. Our Renia RNL solvent and cleaner works well. Our D-Sol would do a great job, also our Renia thinner. So make sure materials are clean, then apply the Rehagol. Rehagol is not a cleaning, it's a primer. Leave it on there, the Rehagol, for about 15 minutes. Not much longer, not longer than 30 minutes. 15 to 30 minutes is sufficient. After that, degradation sets in again, and your prepared surface becomes actually less prepared. Once you've done that, mix up a batch of Renia Synthetic Total, or call it cologne, but Synthetic Total is better, with our Renia Hardener C. I would use 8 to 10%, just to be on the safe side. Once you've done that, make sure you use the mixture within the next 4 to 6 hours. It becomes inactive after that. So you have your primed surface, both sides, shoe and the new sole, primed with Rehagol, wait 15 minutes, then apply Synthetic Total with hardener. Let it dry 5 to 10 minutes. It generally helps to work hot, to work with heat activation. Not because the adhesive needs it, strictly speaking. It cannot hurt, it makes it more tacky, it makes it grab the other side more easily. But it also gets the soling rubber more pliable, and it kind of molds around the curved surface of the shoe better, and you bond with less strain, so you have less issues of material peeling after pressing if you don't hit every spot in the same way. Okay, so the adhesive is on the surface, heat activate both sides if possible, and then get them in the press. You need to press this with a pneumatic press or other mechanical press. It's not sufficient to just hammer the parts in place. Pressure is key here, to get even pressure on the entire surface, to really seal it, to really merge the layers into one another. Once you've done that, pressing time depends on the pressure you can apply, but 30-45 seconds is usually not a bad idea. After that, let the shoe sit, let the materials rest, and let the bond actually properly form. As explained in the basics video and in the video on the hardener needs about 72 hours to fully react with the adhesive and to fully cure and form a fully resistant layer. Keep the shoes in your shop until that has happened. Don't hand them out before, or the adhesive will not have its full resistance. So if you follow this process, It's going to work. We've tested this on the many different materials that are available. It cannot hurt if you run across something you haven't seen before to test it first with a scrap in an inconspicuous spot before handing the shoes out to your customers if you want to be 100% on the safe side. If it is something that is entirely new in the market, usually we have run tests on this already, or we might have come across it. So if you're unfamiliar with the material, if you want to be on the safe side, give us a call, send us an email, and we hopefully will be able to advise you. But with this process, with the right tools, with the right adhesive, with enough pressure, you'll do a great job, and the shoe is going to hold even high up in the rocks.